Welcome, everybody, to this week's Member Roundtable. Thank you all for joining us in the live session, and a big hello to everybody who is watching the replay. So, in this week's session, we're going to be covering how you can successfully acquire and retain customers. That goes for every space, whether that's SaaS or e-com. Obviously, brands go through different tests and challenges as they scale. Some find it super easy to acquire customers, but then they might struggle when it actually comes to maximizing that customer lifetime value. They might find that a lot of people, they might be one-time customers, but actually getting those like 2, 3 time purchases, that's another kettle of fish that they find difficult. Others might have a great product offering, but they can't get past that plateau of maybe 10K customers. So everybody has different issues, and no matter what your brand is, like, you will absolutely come across these issues, maybe even more than one time in the life of your business. So that's exactly what we're going to be helping you with today. I would love to know, what kind of strategies do you guys have when it comes to actually acquiring those first time customers?
I was going to say, when it comes down to e-com, the reality is that especially the strong e-com brands, you could always buy traffic and build out your first customers there. But let's be honest, a lot of people don't have the budgets to play. And you really have digitally, you have two main traffic sources. It's either on web or either on social. So SEO and content is probably the best play for a lot of people starting off. Obviously, those that are starting off with TikTok, just because of the exposure you can get, reels, shorts. But there is another factor that a lot of people don't realize or even acknowledge, and it's that idea of, you have search engines that can give you traffic, social media that can give you traffic, and also that offline, that word of mouth, if you're a local business, that foot traffic. So if you have a strong presence on Google or on social or in person, you're really positioned pretty well to use that one traffic source and actually build upon that and build this really strong strategy that just keeps them coming back and keeps that brand destined for success.
Provide valuable content and demonstrate your knowledge via social media, and stuff will come.
I think it's more than anything else is understanding where customers are, what's the right content mix to approach them, and finding the right balance between paid and organic. When in that organic cap, I would put also the social, just to differentiate between the paid placement and the organic placement.
What do you guys think is the number one free traffic source as of right now?
I just wrote it. I'm just going to expand on it from the chat. TikTok Reels Shorts, mostly because if you compare, let's just say YouTube, right? That's YouTube is just one traffic source versus that one piece of content. It can truly be repurposed across three content platforms. That video is king right now. That's where everyone's pulling to. That's where the attention's going to, and the most amount of eyes are in video. So naturally, there's just a lot of demand. So if you provide the supply, you should be able to get in front of a lot of people. And yeah, Facebook Reels too. But that's the cool thing. That one piece of content can be pushed across all four platforms, and you don't need followers to get exposure.
Jumping in again on this, I think there's no such thing as free traffic. Those reels, you need to produce, you need to create, you need to distribute, you need software, work on them, you need to optimize your content. There's work there.
Content marketing solid. Reddit's a great funnel. You inject people that are typing what they're looking for and their problems, and you're injecting yourself as a solution to these conversations. These are all strong platforms, but of course, time is ultimately the currency that you need to spend on these things.
On the subject of turning 0 time customers into 1 time customers, how would you guys go about identifying and targeting these customers?
I think at a high level, you need to know who they are, but generally, you don't need to know their age and what they eat for breakfast and their interests and their hobbies and all that.
You
It's
got
just
to
kind of
name
nonsense.
them.
My persona is an entrepreneur. My persona is a student. I don't need to know what that kid does before and after school, but the fact that he is a student, let's say you have a SaaS and or an ecom, whatever, and you're servicing students, and all right, we're students, we're kids, so they're probably on TikTok. So that's probably a channel I want to go after, right? Understanding where the market is. If not, you're just shooting in the dark, and if you don't have any goals, if you don't have a map of where you're going, every direction is the right direction, right? So just keep that in mind with building out personas and who you're targeting, and make sure your offer is catered to them.
What is a good starting budget for a paid Facebook campaign selling a product which costs around 30 to 40 bucks? Looking for the minimum.
That's a big complicated question, because if you're looking for the minimum of in spending to try to sell something. Right now, you don't have any data. You need to start testing different videos, content, how your website works. You need a big budget if you really wanna and try to find the correct your correct audience, your correct creative that works. If not, you should rely more on or content creation to find the ideal audience or the ideal creative and then push it through ads.
So you don't want to put a cap on it. I think it's more like in order to evaluate if you have business in a new product, I would put the number somewhere between 2 to 5,000 just to get an idea. It's not going to be final anyways. It will give you an idea. Regardless, I don't think you can cap it. Like you always want to be on top of it.
Making sure that your pop-ups are optimized, making sure that there's like a clear like sign up form, like at least like somewhere in the page, just so you can actually start utilizing the data that you drive from Facebook ads. And when it comes to, let's say, the actual automation side, I'm just going to take ecom for example, but this also applies to SaaS. How you guys would go about creating offers for zero time customers to actually help them convert. What would you say is a good method of actually analyzing whether an offer is good to use or not?
I think it comes down to your analytical stack and understanding which customers of your zero time buyers, what their engagement was like. And based off that, this is how you build your offers. Meaning, if you know your customers went on the website, your bounce rate was low for a specific segment, and they were for more than 2 minutes on the website, and they browsed 4 different products, started the checkout, they didn't buy.
In my opinion, also depends on who you are targeting or what are you selling, what's the niche you are, because some funnels, for example, really work on giving something for free just to capture the lead, then go through the whole funnel and get them to buy something. Or even there's SaaS products that have a freemium, that you have a 14 days trial period, 30 days trial period, so you can test out the products.
Just drop ship a store on Shopify. That's just do it. Don't expect to be successful. Expect to fail and learn. I mean, you got to get those failures out of the way straight up. And a lot of people are just intimidated. They just sit there and study ecom, and it's like, just go open a Shopify. It's going to be the most informative experience you'll get. Anyone else?
I think going to an agency can be a good move for a lot of people.
Working on one for sure.
Working at somebody else's agency, not your own that you started with your buddy, but like one where you have to do training and learn how to do things. It's a lot of times can be really demanding, the culture.
I want to add to this. I think the number one thing you want to check, and the reason I asked is margins. Because if you don't have enough margins, don't waste your time. That's the only thing. If you don't have 3x or more on the price you buy the product, you're wasting your time.
I completely agree. It's, let's say from even an email perspective, right? Sometimes in the funnel you have to give discounts. If you can't give more than like a 5% discount, that can be really difficult to create like really comprehensive flows. And yeah, I mean, I think every time that you do have to give a discount, like it will hurt you like inside emotionally. You have to make it worth your labor. That's what I would say.
Let's talk about pricing a little bit. What are some common ways that you would price that out?
I personally like performance, but to me, if a client is not willing to spend $500 a month on advertising, you're wasting your time. Just for me. If you can't put $20 a day on your business, don't speak to me. What do you want from me? You want this is a nonprofit? What do you want?
To work on performance, they have to have a history of the brand already working. It can't be something from scratch that you're testing products and dropshipping or something small. It won't make sense. You won't get there.
What sort of tactics and approaches work well for you? And that can be in SaaS, in ecom, any sort of space, because obviously if you can't get from 1 to 2 in terms of purchases, that's a big red flag for me. Like at least on the email side, that's something that I would really want to be working along in terms of what is a low-hanging fruit.
On ecom, I think consumables are just probably some of the best, just because you should definitely have a high returning customer rate. So just figure out your product matrix, and if it's a consumable, I definitely think you're in the right spot.
But you also need to take in consideration how the experience of your customer, how they receive your product, the package it, how everything, the whole experience of your product when they have it. Because that really will make them transform them from 1-2 times customers to fans.
I think the biggest thing is to create that emotional buy. Because like what ties customers to brands is not a rational decision, it's an emotional decision. So it's all comes down to the experience. So I think it's about polishing that customer experience and making sure that they become a brand fan by making them feel important, making them feel valued. And this is a hard work. I just gotta say, it's not trivial.
We do have a question. I'm unsure if this is too personal, but I'm only 15 and wondering how much money people make doing these kinds of jobs. A lot of people just get into a job and they don't really know the parameters of that job and how that is going to necessarily affect your lifestyle.
There's definitely money to be made in the space. All of us, I hear, aren't where we can breathe in the sense that we do have income coming in and it's sustained my lifestyle for a long time. There's definitely people making millions of dollars in this space. We have clients that have two clients have Shopify's that just bought a Lamborghini Urus. All right. There's definitely money to be made in the space. So don't get it twisted. Just got to figure out where your spot is because you can't just start as an owner or start as a manager.
Alternative opportunities. I've got a different route. I'll call it the hybrid route. I've got a 9-to-5 job that's remote that allows me to have side hustles. So my agency is very small. I'm very picky with who I work with. Usually one client at a time, but I've got a stable, good paying salary job at a big company. That's got its own perks, right? I wish I had somebody tell me that money, there's more to it.
Yeah. If you're 15, it's not just about the money. You have a lot of time to learn about tools and knowledge in marketing, digital marketing. So I think you're off to a good start joining this community. Don't worry about the money yet. I think it's time for you to start learning things and eventually the money will come.
I love it. Provide value and the money.
Just to add on this, and this is told to sales, business development, everyone. Whomever is looking for money never makes money. Just saying. When you go into a relationship and your main goal is to make money, you're not gonna make money. So I think your main goal should be providing value and growing. And from that,
how do you usually structure that kind of like white label service? Just say here's my pricing, I'll give you a discount, and then I'll take whatever kind of discount is. That the general strategy for white labeling?
Pretty much. They get the deal and they just deal with you and pay for it at a discounted rate. And they make the difference.
So I think we have another question here. How AI proof do you think the job of marketers is? This is such a common question we get now.
We're not going anywhere. Like marketers are going to be the people that ultimately are the ones that are leveraging the AI tools. What you think these brand owners that barely check their email and get their data from Shopify are going to be like, I don't need to hire my marketing agency. I'm going to do everything automatically. The only way it becomes dangerous is when Facebook rolls out AI bid adjustments. But even then, like I show one of our clients, a business manager, they just get overwhelmed and just paralyzed. Like they can't do anything because they're intimidated by the dashboards. So it's not AI that we need to worry about. It's the UX. A lot of these platforms, just these people that are not exposed to the information that we are tech or not tech savvy, they just don't know how to use it. And you know how many times I've showed this brand owner ChatGPT and I showed them, give me a product that you're launching.
I just don't think AI is going to really disrupt that much. I think if you are good at your job, you have the knowledge, it's a tool to use. But if you are a good video editor, you're going to use AI.
All I'm going to say is if it's ChatGPT, remember, please and thank you, because in 50 years' time, you just don't know what's going to happen. You don't know where or who AI is going to be. So that's my little superstitious self and my input there. If I try to look for a sort of mentor that has seen how different industries work to learn from them and have personalized learning capabilities, is your advice to look for someone in real life or online?
Furlough. We're all going to say it. No gurus here, just real practitioners. Everyone's trying to help. You have 7 people right here that are capable of mentoring, but just be respectful because since we're not charging, I think you got to be respectful over time. So make sure you ask good questions when you find a mentor, and this community is filled with them. Everyone's willing to help. It's part of the culture here.
That's how I learned. I actually learned for free through Furlough. So it can be done. Thank you so much for everybody who attended today at the live, and for everybody who's listening. A huge thank you for all the gems brought by our speakers.